Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Jason, for that beautiful selection on the organ. Hi, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Arlington. My name's Gail Crawford, and I am proud to serve as one of the members of the Board of Trustees. UUCA is a place where you can come in and bring your whole self and be a part of this community. Today is Sunday, February 16th, already, 2025. Now, whether it is your first time visiting with us, or whether this is your normal Sunday spot, welcome. If you're joining us online because maybe you're traveling, or visiting, or cold rain is kind of not your thing, or the body and the bones just couldn't find their way to the car here today, thank you all, to include those here in the sanctuary, for worshiping with us here today. UUCA is a community of radical acceptance. We come from all backgrounds, races, genders, sexual orientations, disabilities and abilities seen and unseen. Whoever you are, and wherever you may be in your spiritual journey, come in and walk with us. We hope that something happens today that meets you in your place of need. Whether it is a song, or a phrase, or a vibe, be open to be moved today. Maybe in this last Sunday of Black History Month, ask yourself, what is love calling you to do? With all that's going on in our country, in our government, I am called to choose love over fear. Maybe you are too. Maybe we can show up when we're called to resist instead of retreat. I know from personal experience that until all of us are free, none of us are free. Accept the opportunity in this time and space to just do right. There are so many opportunities in this congregation to serve and to be a part of something greater than yourself. You can check out our website, look at the Connections newsletter, and find something that speaks to you and helps you to be involved. Speaking of involvement, I have one announcement today. Please join us in saving the earth. Bite by Bite group is offering a vegan cooking class in the boardroom after church today. They will be teaching you how to cook and prepare plant-based bacon. Yum. BLTs and salad will also be served. Here at UUCA, we want you to come for community, find inspiration, and live with purpose together. Welcome.
Thank you, Gail, for that beautiful welcome. I'd like to welcome you all here. My name is Amy Shields. I serve as a worship associate here at UUCA, and we are delighted to be here today for a lay-led service. I'm joined by Allison and Katrina and Kyle, who've all volunteered to help prepare for today's service. Just wanted to thank the choir and David and Jason for the beautiful music that you'll hear today. As always, this service could not happen without lots of support behind the scenes, so I want to thank our AV team and our ushers and all the folks preparing coffee to create a wonderful environment for us here this morning. So with that, I would love to welcome you to rise and greet one another and create our space of community this morning. to see so many people greeting each other in community. It's a wonderful thing to see this morning. We'll ask you to go ahead and find your seats. We'll continue our fellowship after the service this morning. The words for our call to worship this morning are More Love by Sharon Wiley. It is said that ministers are here to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. I say we are all afflicted and we are all comfortable.
May our time together this morning be a comfort and a confrontation. May we here find peace in times of tumult.
May we here invite tumult into lives of peace. May we here find calm in times of restlessness.
May we here allow restlessness to evolve into action. Let this be the place you consider what you've never considered.
Let this be the place you imagine for yourself something new and unthinkable. May this hour bring dreams of new ways of being in this world. Come, let us worship together.
Good morning. This morning we light our candle of compassion for those that are suffering from loss. We especially hold Ken and Jason's families in our hearts this morning. We also share compassion with federal workers and contractors who are facing uncertainty. For those suffering from war and gun violence here in our country and around the world. And also those who are hungry or homeless during this hard winter time. We light our candle of compassion.
We gather together as a community of memory and hope to celebrate life and its infinite possibilities for love. Please join me. We light this chalice as a symbol of the light within every human heart. May our individual sparks meet and merge, bringing both light and warmth to the world.
Good morning. My name is David May, and I'm the Director of Music. My pronouns are he, him. I'm delighted to lead you in our first singing together this morning. You can stay seated. The choir is going to sing the first verse for you, and then we'll try it together. This is an arrangement of a spiritual by Wendell Whalum. For a long time was a distinguished professor at Morehouse College in Atlanta. So we hope you enjoy this piece if you don't know it already. Here's your starting pitch, choir. I'm gonna this song, how can you see anywhere on any time? I'm gonna this song, God can use me anywhere on any time. So we'll start there on that first verse. Why don't you rise to your feet with us? This song calls us to do something, so we hope you can do something with us this morning and sing. Here we go, Jason.
Thank you, choir. That was beautiful. Thank you, congregation. Today's reading is Active Hope, a poem by Joanna Macy. Active hope is not wishful thinking. Active hope is not waiting to be rescued by the Lone Ranger or some savior. Active hope is waking up to the beauty of life on whose behalf we can act. We belong to this world. The web of life is calling us forth at this time. We've come a long way and are here to play our part. With active hope, we realize that there are adventures in store, strengths to discover, and comrades to link arms with. Active hope is a readiness to engage. Active hope is a readiness to discover the strengths in ourselves and in others. A readiness to discover the reasons for hope and the occasions for love. A readiness to discover the size and strength of our hearts, our quickness of mind, our steadiness of purpose, our own authority, our love for life, the liveliness of our curiosity, the unsuspected deep well of patience and diligence, the keenness of our senses, and our capacity to lead. None of these things can be discovered in an armchair or without risk.
For a story. So if you guys want to come on up, if you want to bring anybody with you that make you feel more comfortable up here, feel free to do that. Hello, good morning. We're going to read this gorgeous book together, and we're going to see if we can get it up on the screen as well. So you can sit where you can see the book or see where you see the screen. Yeah, okay. There we go. So February is a special month for a lot of reasons. And one of the reasons is that it's Black History Month. And so I was wondering, have you guys been doing anything to celebrate Black History? Yeah?
It's also special because it's my birthday on the 19th.
Can I share that with everyone?
Yeah.
It's also special because it's her birthday on the 19th. So that is pretty cool. Happy birthday. Has anybody had a chance to do anything to celebrate Black History this month at school or with your families? Yes?
At school in music class.
In music class, did you sing a special song?
Yes, but I don't remember.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, that is a great way to celebrate Black History Month, by singing. I've been doing some things. I've been reading some books and watching some movies that help me understand more about the Black Americans' history here in the United States and have different perspectives. I also come here to church as a way to celebrate Black History Month because I find here I can learn about other people's perspectives. I can sing some new songs I might not have known before. And I also come here to share right now with you guys. I'm going to share this story, and usually downstairs, right, I share with you in RE in the class. And so this morning we're going to read this book. It's called They Built Me for Freedom, and it's about a park that was built to remember an important event in American and Black history. And what's really cool about this book is it's written like the park is talking to us. So I think that's pretty neat. It's called They Built Me for Freedom, and it's written by Tanya Duncan Ellis, and then the illustrations are by Janine Muhammad, and the illustrations are beautiful. You're going to love these. When people visit me, they are free. Yeah, let me try this way. There you go. Free to run, to play, to gather and rejoice. They built me to remember. June 19th, 1865, the day enslaved people found out the truth. They could work for their own money, start their own families, live their own lives. No more beatings, no more chains, no more being sent away from loved ones. Finally, they were free. They built me to show they were strong, gathering together, raising money, buying 10 acres of land, and giving me life. So these people, they started their own park. They got together, they bought the land, and they got it ready to be a park. Let's see what they put in the park. They built me to celebrate. Stately horses prance with proud cowboys on their backs. A gospel choir sings, lift every voice and sing. Families feast from picnic baskets, bursting with barbecue. I think down here, yum. Their dancing feet make my grasses sway. Do you guys like to dance and picnic? Yeah, it's nice to have parks where you can do those things. They built, there's a pool, right? They built me to play, beating the heat in the big pool. What do you think they're doing over here?
Baseball.
Baseball, yes. Munching cottony treats, hearing music float through the third ward, watching baseballs rocket towards the clouds. They built me to give thanks for the power to praise, for a place to raise their hands in peace, for my benches where they rest and breathe in the busy city streets. They built me to fight, challenging those who discriminated against them because they were black, marching for justice, demanding equal rights. See how they have their signs up, right, for what they want, what they're trying to make happen. As the years passed, some forgot. Skyscrapers replaced the trees that once hugged my fields. Trash scurried across the ground. Broken chains sagged from swing sets. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes we forget, right? What do you think is going to happen, though? They remembered. Those who remembered came back. They formed a group to make a plan. They raised money to pay for repairs, gave me a makeover. It was a new day. Now a different generation visits, scampering on splash pads. Those are always super fun. Cheering at Miss Juneteenth pageants and parades. Smiling as skaters rock, roll, and bounce. Admiring the art that adorns me like jewelry. While they enjoy my beautiful grounds, they recall their ancestors and all they overcame. Standing strong, walking proud, singing songs of jubilee, running free. They built me for freedom. So what I like about this book is it reminds me why Black History Month is important. So they built this park so they could remember, right? They could remember some hard things that happened in their history. They also built it so they could celebrate. What did they do to celebrate?
By doing splash pads.
Yeah, splash pads and playing. And they also have the park to help them remember to keep working for equal rights, right? What did we see in the story that they did a little bit? Did they protest with signs? Yeah. So I think part for me why Black History Month is important is it helps me remember to take the time to learn about Black history, to celebrate Black history, and to keep working to make the world more fair. So I have one more question before we're done this morning. Is there anything you'd like to do here at church to help you remember more about Black history or with your families? Do you have any ideas, things we could do here to help remember? Sing more songs? Should we do that? Yeah? Read more books?
I wasn't really thinking.
You weren't really thinking about it. You can keep thinking about it. I'll be around after service. You have an idea?
Celebrating with lots and lots of families and friends.
I love that. Yeah, maybe inviting more people here to celebrate with us at our church.
Or at your house.
Or at your house. Yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you. Well, if you think of more ideas, you can find me after service, or I'll see you in the next couple weeks downstairs in RE. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kyle, for that beautiful story. Rev CTC asked a couple of us to come up with some reflections on what Black History Month means to us. So you're going to hear from 3 of us. And my reflection has to do with chlorine. So I grew up swimming competitively. I swam year-round from age 8 all the way through high school. I was a freestyle sprinter, and all my summer jobs revolved around working at pools. So I was a lifeguard and a pool manager and a swim instructor. And to this day, if you give me a lanyard or a keychain, it's going to start twirling pretty automatically. I also grew up in Silver Spring, Maryland, which is a very diverse, multicultural area. On the bus to school every day, we listened to WPGC 95.5, which is one of our local rap, hip-hop, and R&B stations. And I had friends from all different backgrounds, so it was very apparent to me that people are basically people. So I didn't really think that much of it when one summer in high school, an older African-American woman came to the community pool where I worked and asked for swim lessons. I knew that it was harder to learn how to swim as an adult than as a kid because kids know they don't know how to swim, whereas adults kind of think they know how to swim, even when they don't really know how to swim, so you have to get over that with them. And I remember at the time, the thing that was most interesting to me about teaching Miss Maddie how to swim was that she would come every Saturday morning with a peppermint in her mouth that she would very carefully set on the side of the pool before each swim lesson. So I taught Miss Maddie how to swim a passable freestyle and backstroke and how to float on her back, and I didn't really think much of it beyond that. But in the last couple of years, I've really come to understand that while I got that people are basically people, not all people are treated the same or having the same lived experience or are coming from the same historical background. When I read The Sum of Us by Heather McGhee, I learned that in the 40s to the 70s, public pools that everybody had access to were privatized to prevent desegregation and to keep African Americans out of swimming pools, which really took my lens on the pools that I grew up in and took for granted and really shifted it. It made me think that the private swim club that I had worked at, which was 99.9% white, might have come from that tradition, and also that Miss Maddie wasn't just coming to swim as an adult, she was probably coming to swim because she wasn't given the opportunity to access swim lessons as a kid. So what Black history means to me is it's really just a time to zoom out, to learn the fuller history, and to understand the water that we're all swimming in. Thank you.
Each week through our offering, UUCA supports an organization whose values resonate with our own. This month, our offering goes to Little Friends for Peace. For almost 30 years, Little Friends for Peace has partnered with UUCA to sponsor Peace Camp. Peace Camp is a social emotional learning day camp for children ages 5 to 14. Using art, games, and the circle process, children learn mindfulness, empathy, anger management, and conflict resolution. You can read more information about Little Friends for Peace in your order of service or in Connections. There are many ways to give. You can write a check to UUCA, you can write pledge or share the plate in the memo line. You can go to uucava.org and click donate at the top of the page, or you could scan the QR code in your order of service. Thank you for your generosity, and I'll invite our ushers to please come forward.
This month, we've been featuring music exclusively by BIPOC musicians and composers. Something special about two of our selections today, including the one you're about to hear, is that this is music that is called sometimes non-idiomatic music by Black composers, which is a very fancy way of saying that it's not what you might expect. When you think of music by Black composers, folk idioms, popular music idioms, Motown spirituals, we've done that so far this month. This is poetry by Langston Hughes from the Harlem Renaissance, set by a composer who's an associate artistic director for the London Symphony Orchestra, and a mentor to many choral musicians, both in working with gospel music, but also classical music. So part of our anti-racist work as a choir is performing this music so that people can see themselves in a context of performance, regardless of whether it's playing a violin or playing a saxophone or playing in a jazz band. So we hope you enjoy these two pieces. This first one is called I Dream a World by Andre J. Thomas.
Dream
Thank you so much, choir. Ushers, I'll ask you to come forward so that we can bless our offering. I invite you to join me in the blessing of the offering. The words are printed in your order of service. We bless and receive these gifts, opening our hearts to true generosity. Let us be grateful when we give, be it time, talent, or treasure. Let us be grateful for our needs and the experience of vulnerability. Let us be grateful for those who share their gifts to nurture this congregation. Thank you.
When I was asked if I wanted to speak at today's Black History Month service, I enthusiastically said yes. Just to clarify, for me, it is Black History season, which I celebrate from Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday until the end of Women's History Month. I start with MLK weekend, which always includes some reading, learning, and some celebrating, some acts of service. I've done something special on MLK weekend since I was a senior in high school at this church and launched the Youth Action Committee in Martin Luther King's honor on that Sunday. Black History Month in Arlington is guaranteed to offer more events than I can get to that extend opportunities for learning, service, and celebration. March, for me, is Women of Color History Month and rounds out the season. Why do I celebrate this season? And why would I want to talk about it with you? Because of beloved community. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. popularized the idea of beloved community. In essence, beloved community exists when people of diverse backgrounds and identities come together in an interdependent relationship of love, mutual respect, and care. The only way to achieve that is together. It is not an individual's act. And so, I return to this congregation where I was raised and where the seeds of my spiritual understanding were nurtured to build the beloved community. For Black History Month this year, I learned for the first time about Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. Harper is one of our Unitarian ancestors. She was born into a free Black family in 1825, and she was raised in our neighboring state of Maryland. She worked relentlessly in the anti-slavery movement and in securing liberation for everyone. In a speech to the 11th National Women's Rights Convention in May of 1866, she said, "We are all bound up together in one great bundle of humanity." And she went on to explain that society cannot trample on the rights of some of its members without receiving a curse in its own soul. This idea resonates with the core of my theology, that we are all part of an interdependent web, and that all of us need all of us. What harms one harms all, and what is life-giving and life-affirming similarly lifts us all. Her words are as relevant to this moment as when she spoke them in 1866. I believe they are also aligned with the mission of this congregation. I am deeply grateful for the work that we are doing together and excited for the possibilities that we have before us. Here in our congregation, we build the beloved community when we support Peace Camp, working with Little Friends for Peace. We build the beloved community when we join with efforts in our wider community to offer support and sustenance to folks who are already doing the work to lift up those who are caring for our neighbors and ourselves. One of these leaders is Adjoa Blankson Wood, the founder of the Human Connection Committee at the Virginia Hospital Center ER. The Human Connection Committee's mission is to support their patients in any way they can to center their humanity and to support the humanity of the staff. For example, if an ER patient's clothes were ruined as they often are in trauma cases, a patient could end up discharged in nothing more than a paper gown. This group provides socks, sweatshirts, sweatpants, warm coats for patients to wear home. After working on this clothing bank project with AJWA last year, I asked AJWA, how could we support the committee's efforts to support the staff? So a week ago, the first Friday gathering here at our church was able to come together to write notes of support in handmade valentines to be delivered to ER staff along with chocolate, nuts, and other treats. AJWA let us know that the staff were beyond grateful and touched that we wanted to love on the staff the way they love on the patients. The entire staff felt lifted up by our gifts. We have so many opportunities to work together, to lean into mutual aid as a way to strengthen our resilience, to learn more together about how we can grow into creating an anti-oppressive, racially just, multicultural future. In particular, I look forward to our congregation engaging in learning opportunities through the UUA's program called The Mosaic, Fostering Belonging and Liberation in UU Congregations and Communities. And our social justice fair last weekend also highlighted the many ways we can come together to bring our dreams into reality. Black History Month, above all, reminds us that we are part of a long history of struggle and resilience, and holding on to joy is part of our resistance, and that we cannot allow those who would divide us to succeed. Thank you.
As Jason and our guest vocalist Alexis make their way back up, I invite you to join us. You can rise and body your spirit to sing hymn number 148, Let Freedom Span Both East and West.
In January, I embarked on a new journey. I am taking my very first class at United Theological Seminary of the Twin Cities. For right now, I'm pursuing a graduate certificate in applied ethics and justice, and my first class is called Leadership and Strategies for Social Change. Starting this certificate and this class in this particular moment could not feel more right with my soul. This class explores different social justice movements throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, diving into their leaders, the tactics that these movements employed, and the everyday people who were involved. As I'm sure you can imagine, when we look at these examples in America, we're primarily looking to the Black community. As we've explored different case studies, the thing that has struck me the most is that history is often focused on the leaders of movements, but not on the regular people that make these movements possible. The Black mothers and wives who cooked and delivered lunch to those participating in the Montgomery bus boycotts, because now that they were walking or carpooling to work, they did not have very much free time. Black teachers from the North who moved to the South to teach in newly opened African American schools after the Civil War. There are so many examples of ordinary people doing things because the times they lived in demanded their action. Because I'm taking this class at a seminary, we have also been exploring the connections between faith, leadership, and justice. Even though I may not share the same theological background as many of the African American movement leaders that we're studying, I can relate to the idea that the call for justice goes deeper than just right or wrong. I believe that we are all interconnected. I believe that we have a responsibility to the greater good of humanity over self. These beliefs form the core of my faith and serve as a compass for my life. But what is faith without action? Over the past month, I have struggled with the sense of powerlessness to do anything about what is happening in our country. And that perceived powerlessness is exactly what those who are in power want. When we look at our nation's history, we see this pattern emerge time and time again. We make progress towards justice, and those who are threatened by their perceived loss of power begin doing everything they can to reverse that course and halt that progress. What we are currently experiencing may feel extreme, but the playbook is not new, and we can look to examples of how people have stood against oppression in the past. For me, in this moment, Black History Month is a reminder that we are never without power unless we choose to give up. We are everyday people, but we can speak out against the injustices that we see. We can gather in protest and to bear witness. We can support those who are on the front lines of fighting for freedom. We can choose where we spend our money. We can hold our elected officials accountable by writing and calling and showing up at town halls. We can be subversive, or we can be loudly vocal. We can put our faith into action in big ways and in small. And perhaps most importantly, we can choose hope over despair. I've been introduced to more words from the Dr. Reverend Howard Thurman in the class that I am taking. For those who don't know, Thurman was an African-American Christian theologian and mentor to many of those in the civil rights movement. I've been reading his words from Meditations of the Heart frequently over the last few weeks, and I'd like to share an excerpt from them with you today. Look well to the growing edge. All around us, worlds are dying and new worlds are being born. All around us, life is dying and life is being born. Such is the growing edge. It is the extra breath from the exhausted lung, the one more thing we try when all else has failed, the upward reach of life when weariness closes in upon all endeavor. This is the basis of hope in moments of despair, the incentive to carry on when times are out of joint and men and women have lost their reason, the source of confidence when worlds clash and dreams whiten into ash. Such is the growing edge incarnate. Look well to the growing edge. I hope that you will join me in digging deep, doing the work, and continuing to look to the growing edge.
We extinguish this chalice, but not the light and warmth it represents. These we carry with us. bringing our sparks of love to the world.
I hope you all will take the same assignment that Rev CTC gave to us and think about what Black History Month means to you. And in these times of uncertainty and chaos that feel really scary, I hope that we can all find and create spaces that are safe, that bring us comfort and bring us strength. May it be so.
As the choir makes their way forward for our last piece, this piece was commissioned by Marcus Garrett, who is an advocate for Black representation in classical music. He chose to set this piece, "We Are the Music Makers," and commissioned his friend, composer Reginald Wright. But before we sing that, I want to thank our guest vocalists, Alexis Headland and then Ross, who's joining us on this piece. Can you all raise your hand as you're coming up? Thank you, Alexis and Ross. And then finally, they thanked us. Can we thank all the lay leaders who led this service and who did a wonderful job stepping up? Thank you. Sorry, one more thought to share. In the past couple of weeks, we lost someone who was very important to us on staff, Jason Jenkins, and the choir has asked that we dedicate this song, which lifts us up with hope and warmth and light, to Jason, and all who knew him knew that he brought that warmth and light to you every time you walked in or exited the building, and so we dedicate this in his memory.